Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I Joe toy review. Today we're going to be looking at another Arctic figure to fit in with the Arctic month theme. We're going to be looking at the 1989 Sub Zero. He is one of the least popular out of the Arctic figures. I really can't wrap my mind around that. Because he had a predecessor, Iceberg, that only had one accessory. But Sub-Zero comes with a lot of them. Granted, he's not a good-looking figure, and that may have dissuaded a lot of kids. I know when I was going to buy him, or deciding on the purchase to buy him, that was kind of a swaying moment for me too, but I chose him simply because he had a lot of accessories, and I like the Arctic figures, so I went ahead with him. So Sub-Zero was released in 1990 as a part of the 9th series. He only had a one-year run. That's pretty sad. But the 90s were getting into that, where they only had that one-year run. Then he was discontinued in 1991. But they released another Iceberg in 93. He was clad in a dark blue. It was the same sculpt. I unfortunately don't have a example of him to show. So please forgive me. Oh, and he's relatively inexpensive on the aftermarket, but we'll get into that in my next segment. So there's a lot to look at. I won't bore you with a bunch of idle chatter. So let's go ahead and take a look at this dude. Alright, so here he is, Iceberg. He is one of many of the Arctic G.I. Joes. So starting in 1983, we were given Snow Job. He was the first winter operations specialist, and he had many successors down the road. He gave us Frostbite, who was the driver of the Snowcat. Then in '86 we got Iceberg, and '88 brought us Blizzard, as well as Frostbite version 2, or Tiger Force Frostbite. Then in '89 we got what was arguably the best stalker out there. He was another Arctic weather specialist. He came with a kayak. Then the 90s brought us Frostbite version 3, and the best Iceberg out there, version 2, which came with a snowboard. And I must say that he's the only, safe to say, the only action figure in the 90s that didn't come with a figure stand, because he came with his snowboard. So Frostbite came with a crap ton of accessories. Let's go ahead and take a look at those before we get into his review, or looking at the action figure. He came with 2 snowshoes. They're identical. Very nice detail on those. The ridges are really high. There's only one way to put those on him. Make sure that the pointy end goes to the heel, and voila, you have them. If you don't, it'll go around, it just won't look right. It'll set them off kilter. So snowshoes go on one way. Now he came with this incredibly big backpack, which is really nice. I like a good sized backpack. Very well constructed. His tent, or even a camouflage cover, has 2 pouches on it. Has this bar right here for storing his rifle, kind of hollow in the back. And I'll go ahead and display that to you. His rifle has that little slot right there, and it just clips right onto the back very nicely, I must add. His bipod falls off and doesn't quite look right with the ammo belt on there, so the rifle stores there. He also came with this mortar tube, which I was kind of confused when I saw this. I was just a kid. This is mine from when I was a kid. I thought this was a landmine. Mine, not mined. A landmine. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? But his mortar tube has this little slot. Fits right on top of that peg. And bam! There you go. But I used the mortar tube more as a rocket launcher. Works that way too. Actually, you know, I have to be honest with you guys. I thought the mortar tube was a rocket launcher way into my adult years. It wasn't until I saw Form BX 257 review on Sub Zero, and he described that. He told us exactly what it was. The mortar tube is hollow. Comes with 4 mortars, and I'm surprised he survived childhood. But it's really cool. It fits right down the tube. You could actually fit 2 of them inside the tube. And go ahead and slot that right behind the rifle if you can. This is how I had him carry all of his gear. It's a tough undertaking, but you slot it right behind there, put a mortar in there, and the other 2 fit in the hollow space there. His rifle, very nicely done. Looks like an M60. This handle right up here isn't only for carrying, but when the barrel gets hot, you just rotate it, pull the barrel out, and switch your barrels. That way they won't warp. Very, very nice detail on this. This looks like the cocking mechanism. Nice weapon. Came with the infamous bipods. This one obviously is a little bit bigger, so they're not... It's easier to find if lost, unlike Dusty's bipod. Stands right up. He also came with a strip of ammo. That is really nice. You didn't see this until the modern era, but the ammo, no correct way to put it in. It slots right into this little slit right here. Oh, I apologize. Taking a closer look, this is the tip of the bullets, so it will fit like that. We didn't see that again until the modern era, and I happen to have a modern rock and roll right here. Came with a very large ammo belt, and this is it's not the 25th anniversary, but this was the rock and roll that the first one that was released on the aftermarket. In the vintage line, to be said. So let's go ahead and take a look at Blizzard here. Let's take his snowshoes off. Or not Blizzard, Sub Zero. Always get those 2 guys mixed up. Alright, so Sub-Zero, he is clad in this padded snowsuit. You have the zippers going down the front. I have worn these before. They are very nice. Snowmobile suit. So he would pair up real well on the Battle Bear. He has blue straps that go all the way around his body. These would be backpack straps. These splashes of blue really look nice. They break up the all-white motif, and it's an Arctic blue, which is appropriate for him. He does have gray snow boots. I don't know if you can see this, but they're kind of ridged down there at the bottom. Gray gloves. He has a gray stiletto, which mounts up to the front. And this hood, that's what really threw me off. This head sculpt isn't that great in my opinion. He has this very mean looking scowl. He has this hood with the with white fur, and that just looks like a really weird hairdo. And he has his stocking cap or his beanie on underneath, but flip him around, you could tell it's a hood from behind. But up front, no, it just looks like he has this weird hairdo or weird hat. And what would G.I. Joe be without a grenade sculpted on? They did a very good job with sculpting him. Very good job. They have nice ridge detail going around, wrinkles in his outfit. A great looking action figure, save for the head. I do have a file card. This one is a foreign file card, so a lot of what was said about him is missing. It was clipped right off the card. This looks like it's French. It did come with a command ring, and this is a sticker that is just stuck on there. Those command rings are pretty cool. The first one I got, and the only one I got, was with one of the Iron Grenadiers. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. Is this portrait very well done? It really is. That's one of the better portraits I've seen. His code name is Sub-Zero. He's a Winter Operations Specialist. His file name is Habersaw Mark, Primary Military Specialty, Winter Operations Specialist. Kind of redundant. Secondary Military Specialty, Field Artillery. Okay, he carries a mortar tube. That makes sense. Birthplace, Smithfield, Rhode Island. That mortar tube also would come in handy for creating avalanches, either as a controlled avalanche or one just to drop it down on Cobra's head. And for those of you who are wondering, I did intentionally leave out the Cobra figures that came out during those years. I was just wanting to show you G.I. Joe. His serial number, 0000617 AT89. His grade is 02. He is a second or a first lieutenant, one of the few officers out there. If I'm wrong on that rank, please forgive me. Let me know down in the comments if it's anything different. All right, in the middle paragraph, it's in quotations, so this would have been down at the bottom. All the other G.I. Joe Arctic specialists like the cold, not Sub-Zero. He hates it to the max. Oh, there's an 80 catchphrase for you. To the max. It drives him so far up the wall that it brings out a special kind of meanness, unheard in the Western world. Okay. This guy is a schmuck when he's cold. We're talking maximum meanness. Woo-wee! Stay away from this guy. So why does he keep volunteering for cold weather assignments? Because he enjoys being mean. Ooh, okay, this is the lieutenant nobody wants. So this guy is a grade A a-hole to the max. The man likes being mean. Okay. Okay, this file card, my only file card from a foreign file card. Yeah, this file card makes him out to be a real schmo. That would explain the sour look on his face and kind of the somewhat mean expression. It's an older look, so you can tell he's been around for a while. And I have a feeling that he was put in as a cold weather specialist because he was too much of a schmuck, and they wanted to send him up to Greenland just to get him out of the way, and they send the disciplinary problems up to him. Does that really fix a disciplinary problem? Maybe. Yes and no. I'm not going to get into that because that's not a part of G.I Joe. They're all highly disciplined except for Falcon, but he got straightened out. All right, so let's get into my favorite segment, Byron's Gripes. Okay, I didn't find very many complete ones out there on the aftermarket. That does not surprise me. He came with a lot of accessories, a lot of small ones, easy to get lost. Like I said, I'm surprised I had all of his mortars. Honestly, I am surprised I had all of those still, because they are very small. I even had some trouble finding these on the aftermarket. Very interesting. So the FSS, or the Collectors Club, surprisingly were the most expensive, but relatively cheap for collectors clubs. They were $64 to $69, so I would definitely go for that if I was looking for a modern action figure. A good deal on that. So no file card in incomplete. That's not too bad. He goes from $3.99 up to $15.99, and that one that was $15.99, what are you thinking? I mean, he came with, if I can remember, it's the backpack, his machine gun, and maybe his snowshoes. But why $15.99? Alone, in single, no accessories, $10 to $20. Really? Really? $10 to $20? The condition was okay. I mean, condition drives up the price, but I would not spend $10 or $20 on this action figure if it didn't have any accessories. If I had all the accessories and no action figure, which I do have that in some cases. I'm Mickey. Yeah, he's adding his disdain to this. I would buy this just to complete the action figure, but I would not spend $20 on it. He comes with a file card and incomplete for $13.30. Okay, excuse me. That was still, it's file card and an incomplete action figure, and trying to chase down all those small parts. Okay, if you really want him, yeah, $13.30. I would spring on that if I really wanted him. Given that his file card is selling for $5.09. Now carded vintage from Hasbro, not Fun School, $21.95. That is the deal of the day, brothers and sisters. That is the deal of the day. $21.95, mint on card. Yes, yes, yes. I would spring on that guy. You bet. Up to $74.99. The card was warped. No AFA grading on it. The card was warped. $74.99. Would I pay that? Absolutely not. What were you thinking? Now, I'm sorry if you're selling these and you're watching my video. I am not calling you guys a bad individual. Not at all. Absolutely not. That is not who I am. That's not what this channel is about. These prices just upset me. Okay, yes, G.I. Joe is blazing hot right now. Us old, middle-aged old farts are buying them up. So the law of supply and demand comes into play. They are highly in demand. The supply is relatively good. So why are these prices so stinking high? Because people are willing to pay it still. But this kind of rules out the little, not the little guy, but that hard working mom or dad. You know, the 9-to-5-er that has children and a house and car payments and bills to worry about. And they're either wanting to buy these for themselves or to introduce them to their children, which I know good friends with a lot of collectors who are introducing them to their children, and their children love them. And these prices make it harder for the collector who doesn't necessarily have a liquid income to buy these things. And that makes that all the more special. In a way, if you get an action figure and you know your family's struggling, the kids really appreciate it. I know I did. My mom, when I was a kid, she surprised me one day with an R2-D2 with the sensor scope. Just out of the blue, she came home with it, and it just surprised the heck out of me. And I still have that. Actually, I gave it to my daughter. But come on, guys, make these prices a little more inexpensive for those who can't afford them. Complete and loose without the file card. $26.99 to $34.99. $26.99. I don't know. I wouldn't. But given the fact that he has so many small accessories, like his ammo belt, which is really cool, it's done up in gold. And that gold does not rub off, by the way. And how small his mortars are. I don't know. It's almost justifiable at $26.99. And also, watch out for this ammo belt, because some people do cut them to make it a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to play with. So watch out. If it looks small, start asking questions. I would call that complete, but it's altered. Okay, his gun. Pardon me. $1.99. I would pay that. That's a pretty decent deal there. Okay. His file card I mentioned prior, it is $5.09. Yeah, okay, I would go for that. A full card, $8.50 to $12. I wouldn't pay $12 for it. It would really, the condition would have to be great. I mean, the blue background right here would have to be almost complete for me to spend $12 on it. So there you have it, my friends. My head's still spinning. Some of those prices were just outlandish. But all in all, he is a really good action figure. I like him. He's an Arctic figure. Watch out for yellowing on this guy. As they do yellow, that's why I store them with the silica packs. There's one thing I failed to mention. Look at his arm there. He has a hand grenade. Hand grenade on his back, the back of his arm. Why? Why not put it on the other arm? It looks like the hand grenade shot right through his arm and is sticking out the other side. Oh, I don't know what the sculptors are thinking sometimes. And I see what they were going for with his head, but no, it was almost a no sale for me. So, G.I. Joe has a great deal of Arctic troops. Cobra didn't get so many, but they're also made to be troop builders. You know, they had the Snow Serpent and what was it? The Ice Viper. That came with the Snow Wolf. I reviewed that last year. So those guys are meant to be troop built, and I can understand why Cobra didn't have so many. But come on, guys. Come on, Hasbro. Should have put some more of those out in the vintage line, which they did in the 90s. They had another Snow Serpent, kind of like Iceberg. He came with a snow ski, or a snowboard. So, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it. I would really appreciate that. My numbers are growing, and I really appreciate those who have shared my videos and mentioning me on Twitter. There's too many of you to name individually. You guys know who you are. Thank you, gentlemen, so very much for that. It's helped get the numbers up. So when I reach 250, I'll be holding another giveaway. And right now, I think I'm at 137. So we're getting there. I really appreciate that. So the giveaway will be a nice one. Also, follow me on Twitter. Also, head on over to Coffee at JVideos82. Go ahead and leave me a one-time tip if you so care to. This money will go right back into the channel and therefore into your pockets. Because I will use that money to buy more action figures to review and to give away. And also support me on Patreon, Joe Motion Videos 82 on Patreon. I will have it down in the description, but for some reason when I type up the address, I do it correctly. It's not letting me route over. I even looked over at HCC's channel. His route correctly. I have my address set up the same way he does. For some reason, doesn't want to work for me. Don't know why. Patreon doesn't like me, I guess, because I'm bald, because I make fun of action figure prices. Also check out Half the Battle Timmer's channel. He does a segment called File Card Fun. Being bilingual, he is from Belgium. He translates these file cards, and sometimes they are funny. The English into Belgian or French translation, it is funny. like Wild Weasel. I'm not going to say the name because in English it's not nice. It doesn't sound nice. So head on over to his channel. Look up File Card Fun. You will see. It is great. He does have some interesting translations that go along with that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much, especially for well wishes with my dad's passing. It's almost 2 months. In 3 days it'll be 2 months that he's died. The 21st is my parents' wedding anniversary. So my mom, needless to say, is not doing great, but she's coping pretty well. That would have been their 53rd anniversary, and nowadays it's almost unheard of. 53 years. And Christmas, of course, is coming up, so that's hard on the both of us. It'll be the first Christmas without him, my first in 44 years without having Dad around. Please keep my mom in your prayers. She really needs them. She's also recovering from a knee replacement surgery, so she's dealing with that on top of everything. She's a strong woman, and I highly admire her for that. I've really gotten to know my mom since my dad has passed, and a lot of things about her that I didn't know about that we really never had a chance to sit down and talk about. Because my dad was always there, and I won't get all the way into that, but yeah, I just won't get into it. So thank you guys very much. You are a great group of friends. I love and appreciate all of you. So stay cool if you're in a hotter part of the country. Stay dry, especially, and stay warm. Let's avoid hypothermia out there, ladies and gentlemen. Carry an extra coat, blanket, road flares, food, water in your car, snow chains, you know, if anything. And you just never know if you're going to be caught in a blizzard, or if you unfortunately go off the road, nobody sees you. You know, it's just safe, and you know, be kind to animals, everybody. They're four-legged human beings. They have feelings just like us. So give your cat and dog a big hug. If you have a parrot, bird, fish, anything, just be nice. Be nice. We're top of the food chain, and they look at us and admire us. I don't know so much about fish, but all other intelligent animals will. So, you guys take care. This is Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.